Hey, what's going on, everybody? It's B Plus, and of course, we have another bracket, another edition of the CHH 2K22. And of course, I have a couple of friends with us. Let's go ahead and introduce them first before we go ahead and hop into what we're going to be doing on tonight or whenever you're watching this. So let's go ahead and introduce Josh, aka Dad by Faith. Go ahead and say what's up to the people.
What it is, people, it's Josh, aka Dad by Faith from New Release Today. Let's go.
All right, and of course, he needs no introduction. Mr. Reactor himself, Mr. Darrell, say what's up to the people.
What's up? It's Mr. Darrell, the artist turned YouTuber, but I still make music. Reactor, philanthropist, jokester. I'm glad to be here. What's up, everybody?
Yeah, if you're giving out philanthropy, I don't think that's the right terminology, but if you're giving it out.
Next year for philanthropy.
Next year, got you. Well, cool. If you guys are watching this, you probably already have seen, we made a bracket. I want to find something new and creative to kind of celebrate some of the artists that may not have put out a full album, but they did a lot of features this year. And one of those people is No Big Deal. So what we're going to do today, well, first, before I say that, did you guys get a chance to take a look at the bracket?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
All right, cool. So I do want to do a quick refresher and give you guys an update on something about the bracket, because we're going to make a slight change to the bracket. So let's go ahead. Let me know if you guys good. You guys seeing the screen?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, it looks good.
All right, cool. So we put together this bracket. It's all randomized. I didn't choose the seeding of this bracket, but there's one team that's going to drop out. They sent me a message and said this song cannot be a part of the bracket. So I said, "What's your reasoning?" They did not give me a reason. So, you guys want to take a stab at which song said they didn't want to be a part of the bracket? One of these 8 songs said that they did not want to participate, and they're pulling their name out of the bracket.
You know what? My first guess, it might be wrong. My first guess was King Jesus.
Okay.
Yeah, it's actually my guess too.
Well, you were right. Right.
I knew it.
King Jesus. Let me make sure that I'm working over here. King Jesus said they can't be a part of the bracket. So we had a late fill in. So I hope you guys don't mind. But they have a tough draw. They're going up against Lotto, which is definitely a fan favorite. But King Jesus is gone, and we have Gratitude.
Oh, okay.
Song by Bats and No Big Deal off of Kraft. I think I'm saying this, pronouncing his name right. Is that Kraft, the producer?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Kraft is in here. Got a tough draw though. So that's our new addition to this bracket. So does anything stick out to you? Are there any matchups in this first round that are going to kind of give you a little bit of pause?
Honestly, the one Gratitude versus Lotto is going to be tough for me personally. The rest of them, I think, at least for now, are kind of clear for me. For the most part. But yeah, the Gratitude versus Lotto is gonna be tough. Okay, Josh, what you got? What stuck out to you?
I'm looking through here. I would say CATFISH one's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. It's that's going to be a tough one too. So that side of the bracket, we have some thoughts, and I did my best to not listen to any of these songs because I just want to kind of get a fresh take. Because like Mitch, I'm like you, like I'm kind of having like some of my thoughts. Like, okay, I think I like this song, but I think I like that verse better. I think I like that verse better. Mm-hmm. But it hits a little bit different when you hear the songs back to back. So let's go ahead and get into it. I think we're going to start this off. We're gonna put Josh on the hot seat off the bat. We're gonna go CATFISH and Praise. He said that's the one that he's kind of leaning towards it being a little bit tough. So let's put a little bit of pressure on him. Let's hop into this first song, and this is CATFISH off of I guess a dual single by Tory Deshaun and No Big Deal. Let's go ahead and get into it.
Yeah, if God don't like ugly, how you explain me and my buddies, huh? Get so much dirt right after church, my slash muddy, huh? She was looking real lovely, never mind that it's Bible study. I was hunting, looking for a boo like Mike and Sully. Then I heard suddenly, I say stop, what is you doing? Like, look what I taught. Wearing that Christmas, gave you my image, and what did you do with it? Used to cheat when I asked you to steward it. You went and Judas this, who this?
All right. So that was our first song. That's CATFISH, and that is going up against definitely a fan favorite. Some people are saying that this is the song of the year that is faced off against Praise. So let's go ahead and hop into it.
I've been a heathen and I've been a Pharisee. I put a few of my demons in therapy. Fell out with homies and had to repair, but we don't have to dig up the hatchet we buried. The way that they come at the team is hilarious. We really live it, they get it vicarious. I got some scars and God got me sharing them. Hopefully that way you'll never be wearing them. Hopefully.
All right. So that's our first matchup of the evening. We have Catfish, we have Praise. Since this was a tough one for Josh, we're gonna go ahead and kick it off with you. Let me know your thoughts. If you want to just hop in with your pick, go ahead and do that. The world's yours. Ball's in your court.
Okay, first thing, if we don't get a Tory and Dill EP in 23, I'll be disappointed.
Yeah.
I mean, they hopped on, I believe, 3 singles total this year, and all were fire, and they mesh off each other just beautifully. Another one of those kind of Cray and Andy and Andy and Words.
Yeah.
Fact.
So you think it's a possibility that he can join Indie Tribe?
Maybe.
Mitch,
I've always thought Tori should be on Reach, to be honest.
I don't know anything.
Zip.
Yeah, they definitely have chemistry, but like the thing about Tory Deshawn, I know this is we're talking about No Big Deal, but the thing about Tory Deshawn really quickly, he meshes really well with a lot of people. Like him and Hovey have some hits too.
Right.
Yeah, so
it's hard to just hear Dill's verse and not hear both of them just because they play off each other. So that's why I'm leaning a little bit towards Praise. And then Dill wasn't on the original; he was on the one on New Hollywood. So I think that was a perfect addition.
I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
So I think I'm gonna stick with Praise just because it's a fresh look on that song for the project, and I think he fit beautifully, even though they took off some people that shouldn't have been taken off. But that's for another conversation.
Right.
Yeah, so that's a perfect segue over to you, Mitch, because I know you're a big fan of No Big Deal, who was added onto the track, but you're a big fan of who was taken off the track too.
Yeah.
So how did that land for you before you make your pick?
You know what? It's funny because I remember hearing the original and thinking this probably is just a fun track. He's not going to have this on the album. And then, but if a song does better than you expect or does really well, you're going to find a way to get it on there. What happens though is if it was initially supposed to be for fun, maybe not everybody was okay with that song being released like officially in the same way. So like we all know that Jay Monty was on there and he wasn't on the official version. And a lot of people were like, why would they take him off? And I'm like, most things happen for a reason. So I don't think we know why exactly, but it could have been Jay Monty was like, maybe he wasn't going to get splits on it. Maybe he didn't expect it to be on the project. Maybe he wanted a certain amount of money. Maybe, it could be anything. Whatever it was, it didn't work out. I don't think it had anything to do with his verse because his verse was good. But for me, when I saw Dill was on there, I was like, and I reacted to it at midnight. I believe I did my video. So I was like, hey, I love Jay Monty, but if you're going to replace him with anybody, for me to be happy, it's going to be No Big Deal.
Agreed.
So that being said, I actually forgot about how good that Catfish song was and how good Dill's verse is. So it's closer than I thought. But I'm probably going to give it to Praise just because that song in general is like a big moment. And then having him on there kind of technically replacing Jay Monty, I think he did a great job. I still miss Jay Monty on there, but it wasn't. I forgot. He made me forget a little bit about being upset. So I'm gonna go with Praise.
Yeah, I think for me it'll be a clean sweep, but like you said, it's closer than you think. I think as far as like the verses, like I mean, it's really not a wrong answer because like you said, Josh, like they really played off of each other, which that was really really nice. But I think it was like a throw-in thing or like a moment that made me choose Praise. And that's just because obviously we know this documented the fallout, or a little bit of a fallout there was between What Up RG and No Big Deal. And to hear it's Indie Tribe on a What Up RG album, it just like, for me, it was just kind of like you said, like they don't have to dig up the hatchet, we buried it. Like hearing Indie Tribe drop on a What Up RG song was just kind of like, they really for real, like they handled this amongst themselves and they came out and they're still brothers. So for that reason, I think I would go Praise, but like I said, it was a sweep. So that is our first, we got our first movement of the night. So let's go ahead and move Praise along. And let's go ahead and go diagonal and let's go with CECE and blessed mode. Let's go CC and blessed mode. Let's start it off with blessed mode first. And I do this every single time. I don't slide my bar back. Now we're gonna listen to blessed mode.
I got my piece back. Don't need your feedback. Went through the fire and didn't expire. They calling me Meshach. I have been doubting myself, surrounded myself with people who didn't love me back. But then I found in myself a fountain of health. But Instagram making me relapse. Bless mode, you about to profit, Creflo. Yeah, I'm about to profit, Jethro. Yeah.
All right. That was, man, those Old Testament bars he be dropping.
Right?
He does it a lot too. Like, who has Old Testament bars?
Right.
Who has a Meshach bar?
Right. So let's go ahead and check out CC.
Howdy, partner. All of my life they doubt me. Had one shot like Fauci, took it. All of my shows be crowded, book it. I like them nice and rowdy. All of my tribe around me. I got the fit from Wowie, how we get it to fit so nicely. Thank you. I'm on my tip like Spike Lee, do the right thing. Off of my king, John got the kid like Tai Chi. Got out the boat all lightning. I found love in the storm like Kylie. From the boon.
That was crazy.
All right, man. It really was. And like for me, and I run into this problem sometimes. It's not really a problem, but like it's an observation. Like the production is so dope on CC. And did you say Wow Eli?
I believe so. I wouldn't be.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I think he gave a nod to him in the verse. The production's so good, so it's like it makes me enjoy the verse even more. So, but I'm trying to just look at verse for verse. That's what we're doing. We're looking at the Bless Mode verse versus the CC verse, but like that CC, just like the production is so fire on there, and it just adds little small elements as the verse goes on. So, man, I'll kick it off, and I'll cast my vote for CC. I'll cast my vote for CC, and some of that I can't kind of separate the two, but I'm gonna go with CC for my pick.
All right,
I'm gonna jump in real quick because I'm gonna let Mitch be the deciding factor.
Oh man,
putting the pressure on him.
I'm gonna go with Blessby just with the Meshach Abednego bar alone, but for a man who has had as many features as he had this year to have the fresh material that he has, it's just crazy. I mean, he comes up with stuff that just it's fresh, it's new, and it's it doesn't matter if he has 20 features, he really puts his heart behind those features.
Yeah. It almost like I said in the opening, like it feels like he dropped the album this year in a way because you got so many songs. Yeah, you got so much from him. Obviously, he had the tour. Shout out! I actually got my merch on tonight. You can't see it, but
hey.
My demons. What is it? My demons looking depressed.
Yeah, there you go.
I had a brain collapse there for a second. So I'm just trying to stall because I know Mitch needs a little bit more time to make his decision.
I got it.
He's ready. He's ready. So Mitch, you are the determining factor. Game 3.
I always give like a backstory. So it's close, and one reason it's really close is because for me, being a kid who was born in '96, if I had a song with Kel Mitchell, that's all I need in life. Do you know how cool it would be? I was so jealous when I saw that come out because I was like, I didn't know Kel rocked with Christian hip hop. He's like really in the know about it. Right, 2, I didn't know he was really making music like that.
Yeah,
so
me either.
If I'm like, No Big Deal gets to be on first of all, I don't know if y'all saw the clip where he got to be on like Nickelodeon.
You guys are made up of Darrell, Dylan, Rindell,
not related at all,
and Donna.
Doing like a little chat. So he gets to do that as a kid. And then he actually gets to be on a song with Kel from one of my favorite shows ever.
Oh, that's a good callback. I forgot he was on Nickelodeon.
Yeah, I won't forget that either because I was like, there's actually people like I thought they were like paid actors. I didn't know they got real people.
That's crazy. I
to be on these things.
Forgot about that.
So he's like a Nickelodeon fanatic, right? I mean, you have to be if you're born in the 90s.
Yeah.
So for him to have even a song with Kel is crazy. The verse is really good, but his verse on CC is better. One thing he does, which I forgot until we listened to it just now, is he changes up his flow a good bit, where typically he'll find a pocket and kind of stick with it. I kind of do the same thing, and there's nothing wrong with that. And it actually, the good thing is that whenever you change it up, it's really noticeable. People are like, whoa, like he kind of switched it up. He doesn't usually do that. Yeah. So I think his cadences in the CC track are a little bit better, a little more switching up of it. But yeah, it's definitely close because again, just having a song with Kel Mitchell was crazy. But I'm gonna go with CC.
You're gonna go with CECE.
Yes,
Makes
sir.
sense. Makes sense. You have to give Bless Mode its flowers before you.
Yeah.
I'm feeling that. So CECE gets the nod here, and like in a close one. And like now that you say that, like it's kind of like the same reason why I gave Praise the nod, just because of like a external type of deal, like hearing that drop on a What Up RG. Like for you, what made it close for you was like the backstory, the fact that he was on Nickelodeon, song with Kel.
Right.
Yeah, that's pretty dope. Really, really, really dope. All right, cool. Let's go ahead and head over to it. Mitch, this is the one for you. This is Lotto and Gratitude. We are gonna go. Let's go Gratitude first.
All right.
Let's give the underdog the first swipe at it. This is Gratitude, Craft, Bats. Let's get into it.
Dilly the kid. Hit 95 for the kick, yeah. I hit up cop for the wrist, yeah. I said these rappers my kids and they got all offended. They took it to Twitter, I didn't. I shouldn't have clicked on it. I shouldn't waste any pen on it. Got me a feature to vent on it. Yeah, look, I never do it again. Ruin my witness, root of repentance. I'm feeling foolish again.
All right. So man, this is a tough matchup.
It really
this is a really tough
it
matchup.
Really is.
I really wish this could have went another way, but it has Lotto. Let's hop into it. And actually, let me slide my bar back. I'm not editing that out either. Every single time I make that mistake, they're gonna see it. Let's do it.
Dilly, lot on my mind, so you just hit the lottery. Lately, I've been watching the hypocrisy. A lot of us got problems with the honesty. Long as you know that God not with the mockery. I let it click and let the pick develop properly. I see a lot of y'all just want to take a shot at me. You saw what happened to Sodom, you'll have to pardon me.
All right. There we have it. We got Lotto versus the Upstart Gratitude track. First of all, I do want to say that the production on both of these songs are excellent.
Excellent.
Like,
Chris.
those are two of the strongest. Well, there's another beat that I really, really, really like out of this 8. We haven't heard it yet. That's a hint. But like, I really, really like the production on both of these. So that makes it easy because now I can just focus on the verses. So,
yeah,
man, who hasn't gone first yet?
I don't think. Have I gone first? I
don't think so.
It's because I'm always long-winded, and I'm about to be again.
Go for it, man.
Because I think about, I like doing this stuff because it's never just like that one. Like I always have a reason and thoughts behind it, right?
Yeah.
So for both these songs, and the reason that this is hard for me is one, I like both of these verses a ton. One, the craft. When I'm glad that you use that to replace it, because one, that's one of my favorite like Dill verses of the year. And one reason is Bats is on that song, and I love Bats. Yeah. Craft's project in general as a whole was really good and well put together. But if you listen to Dill's verse, he's being super transparent about a moment that some people forgot about this year, where YP and it had a song with Selah called Duck Duck.
Nothing push the mute button. You see these tribes indie form a line. I put a fear in these rappers, fear factor, eat them all alive.
Where he kind of called out everybody, and Indie Tribe was one of the people. And then some people kind of responded, and there was kind of a Indie Tribe wasn't super happy about it, understandably. And so he's rapping about this like months later. Like I remember driving and listening to this. He's talking about that situation where the reason it started was because on Lowercase tape, Dill said, all these rappers my kids, which is a thing that rappers kind of say jokingly. I mean, it's not really supposed to be offensive, but that was part of why YP made the song. He took real offense to that at least as an MC. And so Dill is kind of reflecting, saying like, was it worth saying that, whether in jest or not, to kind of almost ruin my witness in a way? I upset somebody to the point where they were trying to beef with me basically and insulting us, and then all that. So he's rapping about that in that verse so many months later. And he even says like, I got a feature to vent on it. Might never do it again. Like he's literally like rapping about the situation.
He's
and me
verbally processing it.
I'm like, I remember all this, and it's crazy he's talking about this. So that verse is super dope, right? Now on the other side, Lotto was a song that, sorry, Michael, but he sent me that song before it came out because he wanted me to hear kind of what the bodega was going to sound like. So he sent me that, and as soon as I saw Dill was on it, I was like, oh, he already knows I'm gonna love this. And I loved his verse so much so on that track. All that to say, it's super close. I'm probably going to give it to Gratitude because of just the fact that he was willing to be transparent and talk about a past error. And because as much as I liked his verse on Lotto, his actually wasn't my favorite verse on that song. I think my favorite was the other artist you did a bracket for, Aha. I think he might have had my favorite verse on there. So, but yeah. So we're gonna go with Gratitude.
Gratitude goes up 1-0 in the series. Nice. Man, this I don't like this one. So, man, I really wish that it wasn't this way, because, and then also, Mitch, you connecting those dots for me and laying out the story.
Yeah,
it gives me like that emotional connection to like that moment, because you know how people are in CHH. The smallest thing, and we get everything is in the bunch, and we just get all in our feelings and emotions. And that was a moment when
it really was
when that disc tape came out, and man, and the fact that he in the moment verbally processed it with his pen and put it out.
I'm telling you, it adds to it.
Yes. Dead by Faith. Tell me what you're thinking, because I got some more thinking to do.
He's like hitting pause.
Right.
Mitch over here going deep sea diving deep.
Yeah.
I know, but it's good.
I can't
though.
not.
It's good. Yeah. This should have been a 3-way though. We should have threw Gotham on there, his verse on there.
Yeah.
Because I kept reflecting on that kind of with Lotto, just because the project as a whole.
That's a good point. Maybe if I can do this bracket over, I would have took Lotto out and put in Gotham, because I think I like this Gotham verse more than his Lotto verse.
That's what I was leading up to. I think his Gotham verse, just as a whole, between the 3 that are on Lotto, I think Swoop had the best one, then Aha, then my boy Dill. But I mean, they were all strong, but between the 3.
Right.
So his verse, if he would have had his verse on Gotham flip-flopped, I would definitely pick that as number 1. But I'm going to have to go with Gratitude as well, because of the backstory, and because he has a couple lines in there that are just they're nice, and it really had to affect him for him to. He never calls out people or situations like that, or very rarely. He did a few times on lowercase, but so it had to be pretty passionate about it.
Yeah, that's a good point. And so we have a winner, but at the same time, it's like, I think going into this, that's why it's so interesting just to hear the verse over, and then to actually be able to talk through it with fans, because going into it, I would have thought Lotto was going to be my pick, but hearing it again, it just kind of it sits a little bit different than hearing the story and kind of hear it. You kind of, I want to call it peer pressure. It just helps you to see a different perspective. Just like if I'm looking.
Aren't you glad I went first?
Yeah, I am. Because if I'm looking at this microphone, it says it's a blue Yeti, but on the other side, it's a different perspective. It's telling me about the gains and stuff. So it's I'm looking at the same thing, but a different perspective. So, man, I would say that's a little bit of an upset. Now we have Gratitude moving on to the final 4, and now let's move over to Rest and Misconceptions 4, which is another tough matchup. Misconceptions 4. So let's go ahead and start off with Rest. Start off with Rest off of Not Clyde's. I guess this was the mixtape.
Yeah, EP, I think.
Yeah, EP. Okay, let's see what Dill's talking about.
No need to gossip. My name is Dilly. I'm a workaholic. It's harder to stop it when idolatry can be seen as a calling. America share a reflection with Sodom. The way that we treating the people like products. Swallow my pride, turn to the rock, show them my scars. Hakuna Matata. Yeah. Hey, I'm Harry Potter. I poof any op that don't fool my father. Love it.
Yeah, I love that song. That's one of my favorite songs of the year.
Yeah.
Man, Not Clyde. Man, his ad libs are just.
His whole vibe, man.
He is. And the thing is, it's I don't think he's making music for me. I don't look but I'll be 39 in 2 weeks. He's not even making music for me. When I first heard him, I was just kind of who's that? I probably won't ever listen to him again.
Right.
And then the second time I heard him, I was just kind of wait a minute, something there. And now I'm waiting for it. I'm just even that song on MySpace. On What Up RG's album.
Oh, yeah.
He's just doing nothing but ad libs.
Yeah.
He's not even featured. He's just vibing. He's just doing this thing, and I love that joint. So, off topic, let's get back to the task at hand. Let's take a look at misconceptions.
You know them Christians is all bigots, want riches, burn bridges, build walls, tall fences, all critics quick to call y'all wicked. But when it come to the poor, then it be all crit. I'm at Chick-fil-A with a single gay and we singing crave, finna pray, switch it to Kendrick and then the chicken came. Renegade, not cause it's the quickest way to get the fame. Penetrate, heart of stone and then I rode the living way. Deconverting, you just tell them read the word, read the word, read the word.
Man. Who dares to start after hearing those two songs?
How dare you pick his two best features from the year?
The thing is, like that's why I go to bracketology.com or whatever it is to do it, because like if I want to sit down and make it out, I would be biased. I was like, well, let me just make a video to show everybody that like they did this.
Yep.
Al Gore's internet picked this. And I'm just relaying the information. And I felt the same way because Rest is one of my favorite, like, it's one of my favorite songs of the year.
Those are probably my two top favorite songs out of in top 5 songs of the year. So
really?
Yeah, just the content, especially in Misconceptions, not only from Dill but from everyone else involved. It's just, I mean, you don't hear that all in one track normally. And I'm gonna have to just go with Misconceptions just because as a whole, and even Dill's verse kind of is like the cherry on top, even though he didn't go like last or anything. But wow, props to Rest. But Rest has some pretty sweet bars in it too. But Misconceptions, for what it is, it's top tier. So that's where I'm going.
I got you. That makes sense.
That Chick-fil-A bar, man.
Yes. I like how he ended like the first, I think it was the first 2 or 3 bars, maybe 4, where he didn't finish the word crickets and he just like it's all crit, and it's like you hear like the sound. Like I love when artists do that. Like they just kind of leave you to finish the bar. So it's Misconceptions for me too. It's as much as I love Rest, like I think I got to go Misconceptions for. And I just love the Misconceptions series that Lecrae has. Like they hit it from so many different angles. As I got my kid's toy, sorry. But yeah, so I just love that series, and like they've tackled so many different subject matters through the Misconceptions series. So I got Misconceptions. So we have a winner, but Mitch.
Now I was just gonna say, I'm gonna cut Mitch off for a second.
No, go for it.
Just John Keith, AI, and Dill. I mean, they all even have like the same cadence and the same like even tone of voice. It's just crazy how they kind of just made that all together to sound similar, and you don't hear that possible too often. So yeah, go ahead, Mitch.
No, you're good.
That's good.
Y'all kind of said it all. I really like Rest. I love Not Clyde. First of all, he's one of my favorites. He embodies rap should be fun, in my opinion. He has so much fun. He does not care. He does what he wants. And then having Dill on there was great. He has a lot of wordplay in that verse. He has a lot of fun with that. I love the I'm a workaholic high dilly. That's fun. Like he has a lot of fun with the verse. The contrast, I think, with Misconceptions 4 is it's more like he's talking about serious stuff. Like it almost feels like the songs are opposites in the sense that it's like this is a fun, light song, and the Misconceptions 4 is like this is deep. You got to really listen to this. And whenever, again, this Craze album was one I reacted to at midnight when it came out, and I didn't know Dill was on the project. I didn't, because I don't think he dropped. I don't know if Craig dropped the track list beforehand, or all I know is I did not know who's going to be on Misconceptions 4 until I got to it. And I remember I really stopped. So I stopped like the video, or I paused the song and I was like, AI, Keith, and no big deal. This is gonna be I like called it. I was like, this is gonna be my favorite song on the project. I call it. And Dill's verse blew my mind because it was like different cadences than usual. The layering, the voice. I could talk for an hour about it, but that one is Misconceptions.
Misconceptions is definitely definitely was one of my favorite songs on the album. And I don't think I stayed up to watch your reaction to it, but I did check it out, and I had a lot of the same reactions. One of my homeboys actually asked me like, what you think of the project? I just sent him your reaction. Like, this is how I felt about it. This is how I felt about it. So we have our final 4 here. I will say that going into it, I was thinking I was going to pick Rest, but again, like once you start listening to it, I was going to pick Lotto. So it's cool to look at it now after we getting into it and seeing how things are shaping up. So
right.
Let's do you guys have any thoughts going into it, or you want me just to hop right into it?
I got nothing for you, man. We can go right,
all right, cool.
into it.
Cool.
No,
well,
let's do it.
Let's start off with Praise and Gratitude. Praise and Gratitude. We're gonna kick it off with Praise, and we're gonna get maybe the second half of his verse. Yeah, we're gonna hop into the second half. Let's get into it.
Turning my pain into praise breaks. Know what it's like in the dark of the night, but the joy gonna come when the day breaks. And I can't wait when they play this. They feel like New Orleans, the way that the Saints ate. And it saved lives. We don't save face, we just save grace. Pulling up.
All right. So we got Praise, and that is going up against Gratitude. Let's do it. And let me slide the bar over, and then let's do it.
Ruin my witness, fruit of repentance. I'm feeling foolish again. Pain in my body. I know the angels that got me. I got agape on me. Lord of the armies, army. Devil can't harm me, but he won't prosper. Holy Ghost farm me. Also the Father, fruit of the Spirit, coming up proper. Yeah, I almost lost my baby, playing the field, but thank God I got her. Yeah, I was stuck lifting this weight right off of my chest. I needed a spotter. Yeah, I used the scars that I got to get evil to stop. I did it like Potter.
Man. I got Gratitude.
I'll say Cinderella's story for the content and just the bars included. Gratitude has it. I mean, Dill has an impact on Praise, but I believe just content for content, Gratitude just speaks a lot higher.
I agree. Well put. I didn't have those words, so I just blurted out my answer. Thank you for filling in the gaps for your boy.
Yes, sir.
I could not agree more. I think, the posse cuts, the tracks with a bunch of people, those are always fun, but it's kind of like you're naturally going to have less of an impact because there's like 9 people. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd have to have something insane for me to be like, this was your best verse of the year. So since it's just him and Bats, he has 50% of the song essentially, and he carries that half of it. And with his 50%, he leaves a very big impact. So yeah, I gotta go with Gratitude.
Yeah, and like and you said it earlier, just the first time we played Gratitude, just like his authenticity in this song, like he's laying everything out. He talked about how like, hey man, like should I have done that? Should I have poked that bear within CHH, knowing how fragile it is and knowing how people get in their feelings? Then he talks about like his situation with he and his wife, and getting too close to the fire there. It's like, who like is this vulnerable throughout an entire song? It's hard to beat that. I love heart bars. That's what I call them. Like when people are just really speaking from their heart. And then he's like obviously throwing in the wordplay, like trying to carry this weight. So you start thinking about like carrying the weight of sin, but then he said I needed a spotter, and it's like obviously like that's the Holy Spirit. And he's just like he leaves bars open enough for you to like fill in the gaps with your knowledge of the word or your experiences. So it's gratitude all around. It's gratitude all around. So did I already move that forward? Let me see.
I don't think so.
Here we go. Let's move it forward now. Gratitude. Cinderella story wasn't even in the bracket.
Right? Look at that. Look at that. They were a 16 seed.
They
had a play in first.
Yeah, they had a play in. So let's go ahead and hop into CECE and Misconceptions 4. All right, so let's start off with Misconceptions 4. A little bit more of that verse. Let's do it.
He converting, you just tell him, read the word. Probably should bandage up the wound that you see bleeding first. Meet them where they speaking, do not leave with you a heathen first. Be the person that they need so they can see that Jesus word. He can make a lion out of liar, Magic City acquire. Transform you too if you feeling a little shyer. Question, did you think you too messy for the Messiah? Misconception is that your mess could disqualify you.
Man, that's tough. That is a tough act to follow, but let's see what CECE has. Let's hop into. I think I have it queued up right. Let's go ahead and hop into the second part of this song.
Docs like Riley, from the boondocks like Riley. Handle that pressure nicely, diamond shining, white and brightly. I'm in that studio nightly. Me and my demons fighting. Please do not get me lit. Open that script, give me enlightening. My crew ball like Caillou. My crew hot like Cayenne. We got tunnel vision. Rest in peace to Princess Diane. Yeah.
Man, I just gotta say, I love when artists are able to end the verse on like a really solid, sticky bar.
Right.
And like he did it there, like Princess Diane. I'm just like, and it's like dying, like dying.
Yeah.
I'm just like, like
That
it's not too
vision,
soon because that happened back in the 90s. You probably can't say that
right.
after it
It's not
happened.
too soon.
So, but yeah, man, that's a perfect way to end the end tracks. I think hopping over to Misconceptions, knowing it's not a big deal, but I like how Lecrae ended his verse with the CHH I breathe different. Like I think about that all the time.
Yeah,
like,
that was crazy.
Every Saturday morning, like my 4-year-old son is sitting here with my turntable and he's just doing stuff and having fun. It's just like I tell him all the time that like by the time you're like 10, you're going to be like the dopest CHH DJ in the nation. So hopefully that pans out. So, but yeah, so back to these two songs. Mitch, what are you thinking about this matchup? What are you thinking?
It's two different feeling songs where one is super fun and playful and this is light, and the other one is the opposite of that. So it makes it kind of hard because you wouldn't probably listen to them back to back. You'd probably have to be in a different type of mood. I just got to go with Misconceptions because it's like somehow he found a way to add a different voice. And I don't understand, like, because he has a specific tone he tends to use a lot.
Right.
And so he kind of changed it up for this. Again, the effects he used were different. The cadences, the actual words he's saying, I just think it's a little more powerful. Although I do like the other verse. It's just hard to beat Misconceptions.
Yeah. All right. So we got our first game under the belt. It's a vote for Misconceptions. Do you have any quick thoughts, Dead by Faith, or do you want to kind of cast your vote?
As the one seed per se with Misconceptions, I'm going to go with that.
Yeah, it's hard to pick against it, but I think, like Mitch said, like these are two different sounding songs.
Right.
Two different sounding songs. So like Misconceptions, its route to the championship, because it's here in the championship, it was a deep song going against two lighter songs.
Yeah.
So what's going to be interesting now is as we go back to our bracket and let me cast my vote, it's for Misconceptions. What's interesting now, it's going up against another song that is deep in content. So it's going to be interesting. I'm going to stop this really quick. It's going to be interesting the how they match up now, because now I feel like it has like an even matchup. It's almost like kind of like in sports, like where you have like or in basketball, you have a team that gets up and down the court versus like a slow team, and they're able to play against like two slow teams and like beat them. They just run them out the gym. But now you're playing against a team that does what you do.
Right.
So it's going to be interesting to see these two match up. So, man, I think we just dive in. So we have our best of the best, No Big Deal. We have Gratitude, that's on Craft's project featuring Bats and No Big Deal. And we have obviously Misconceptions 4. That's off of Lecrae's Church Clothes 4. No Big Deal, John Keith, AI, The Anomaly. So let's kick things off with the Cinderella story. The best way to start it off with Gratitude. Let's go ahead and see if we can get the end of the verse. Let's pick it up here. And let me get my bar right and let's do it.
Army, also the father, fruit of the spirit, coming up proper, yeah. I almost lost my baby, playing the field, but thank God I got her, yeah. I was stuck lifting this weight right off of my chest, I needed a spotter, yeah. I use the scars that I got to get evil to stop, I did it like Potter, yeah. I go nuts, Carver, Carter 2, Wayne, Luke, Kane. This is art, but also arson too, Lane, blue flame, 9/11, move lanes, loose change, yeah.
All right, so that was Gratitude. Now let's move over to Misconceptions 4.
He converting, you just tell him, read the word. Probably should bandage up the wound that you see bleeding first. Meet them where they speaking, do not leave with you a heathen first. Do not follow me, we follow the one who part the seas. I can't follow party or politician, so pardon me. Foot up on their neck, cause they never let Eric Garner breathe. I know they confused, they thought believers, stop believers, stop believers.
All right, so there we have it. Those are our two finalists, Misconceptions for versus Gratitude. I want to start off, I just want to say about Gratitude, is that like I said earlier, it's just like all the vulnerability that he's just showing throughout the entire song. I feel like that's obviously going to tug at your heart, but I feel like Misconceptions tugs at it from like a different vantage point. It's almost kind of like, in a way, it's kind of holding up the mirror to you, to some of your like contradictions and things like that. So it's a tough matchup. I'm gonna need some more time to kind of think through what I'm going to pick here. What you guys got?
What you got,
Josh?
Josh?
Mitch.
Jinx.
I'm gonna go the NFL route. It's just a tie.
It's a tie.
If this was Track Stars, we can just do a toss.
Yeah, toss.
Right.
No,
for real though. Misconceptions. I think his verse beautifully fit what Lecrae was going for the whole project, culturally speaking. Injustice. He fits everything into that little feature. And not really little, I mean little but very heavy. And I think it just abides so well with the other three people on the track. But then again, like you said, with Gratitude, it just tugs on those heartstrings. It touches the core of a Christian. They always struggle with seeing the grass is greener on the side with your wife or whatever, or dealing with struggles within your workplace, just being hip hop, where you're going to have people speak bad about you or bad about your brand, and then you have to respond. So they're both incredible. So
yeah.
I don't know, man.
Yeah,
Mitch, what you got? I ain't ready yet.
You're right.
That's a good point you make about, like, because this is his workspace.
Right.
And we all have drama in our workspace, and people often talk about competition within Christian hip hop. And Mitch, you had a great
right?
yeah, you had I thought Mitch, you had a great take on that, because it's there. And I won't go the long story, but I spent a good amount of time in mega church culture, worked at a church, been to all the conferences. I can like walk in the church and say they went to the Catalyst conference, they went to the Grow conference. Like, I've been around mega church. It's just as much competition, if not more.
Right.
They all want to have the biggest church in their city. Right. And they see what other people do and try to, like, it's an underbelly to any organization, any ministry. I'm not trying to dunk on the church, but I'm saying that, like, we try to act like everything, all these things that CHH goes through is particular to CHH. It's not. It's particular to people. That's what it is. So
exactly.
A little random rant, but that just drives me nuts when people act like all CHH problems are unique to CHH. I'm like, they're unique to the church. Chill.
And it's a microorganism of the church, right?
Exactly. Well put. Mitch, what you got?
So again, and it's funny because this year I made a playlist in my phone that's literally called, like, No Big Deal. Like, it's like you knew I did this. It's called No Big Deal Features for this year.
Oh, nice.
And it's like most of these songs are in here. The one that we get to kick out is in there. But I really listened to Kraft's song a lot. Because one, like I said, I like the project a lot. And Bats is, I can't say enough about how much I like Bats as a person and artist. I feel like he goes really well with Dill. So I like that song a lot. I've listened to it a lot. Again, always connected the backstory with it. That was a super dramatic time. And it's so funny. Again, another story. I heard the diss track thing before it came out, because I had just done a song with Selah, my song Autopsy.
Open up your mind like an autopsy. Know the truth might burn like it's hot coffee. Don't take it as a joke when I'm knocking. I'ma still be cooking when you're crock potting.
Oh yeah.
Like 2 weeks before that, and I was at work, and Selah wanted to talk to me. And if Selah's watching this, I apologize if you didn't want me to share this. I don't think it's a big deal. But he called me and said, I want to let you know, this song that I'm on is coming out in about a week. And I know how this space gets. I want to warn you beforehand, just because I just did a song with you and you're associated with me. I don't want to just like have this out and you not know it's coming. It's going to be controversial. And he sent it to me. And I was like, I see why you say that it's going to be controversial. I didn't know it was going to turn into what it turned into.
Right.
But it did. And then it lasted for a while. And so something that that affects me with this verse is that he didn't do this feature like during that time. It was months later. Like the fact I connected it immediately because I'm obsessed with all this stuff. But I immediately knew, I was like, it had to have been at least like 4 or 5 months after all this had ended that he rapped this verse. And I just thought it was interesting. And it almost shows where his mindset is at, where he's like, that he could have just completely forgotten, been like, whatever, it's not a big deal, it's in the past. But he was like, yo, it's still affecting me, and I can use this verse to kind of like vent and get that off my chest, right?
Yeah.
So that's why I really like the verse a lot. But Misconceptions 4, right? I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, but I believe Dill was the first verse. Is that right?
Yeah.
So for me, again, when I was like, yo, Dill's on this, John Keith's on this, AI's on this is gonna be great. And then I hear his verse. If you go back and watch my reaction to the verse, I am so happy. Like I was like, this is amazing. Okay, the verse is great, the effects are great, and what puts it on top of everything is that the fact that it's on a Lecrae project. Like to me, it's like this was his moment. Like it almost had to be his best verse, because it's like if Crae asked me to do a verse, it's like it's gonna be probably my best verse. Like I'm gonna make sure it's my best verse because this will be heard by a ton of people
all over the world.
Representing myself and this is my shot, right?
That's a good point.
So, and I think he exceeded what he needed to do. He did an excellent job. I think the verse is great. I think the song as a whole is great. But yeah, afterwards, I literally said, I was like, this is his best verse of the year. So it was going to be tough to convince me that during this, that it wasn't. So I got to go with Misconceptions.
Got it.
Jumping back in, the fact that Keith and Dill are on there, both from Indie Tribe, and they kind of feeded off each other. I think it was some of their best work, just period, this year as a collective from half of Indie Tribe. But like you said, when my first listen, of course, I got the project a little bit early, and just to hear Dill pop on there first, I'm like, dang, like he's bringing this. And then to hear the other artists kind of go, it seemed like he was the kickoff for that track, and then everyone just brought their A game too. Even though Lecrae finished it up, but it didn't really seem like a Crae track. It seemed just collectively, nobody's really. They just all brought the same message. And
right. Yep. He actually gave him a shout out in his verse, right?
Yeah. He did.
Yeah. And I thought that was a big moment too.
Yeah, he's actually been given a lot of props to Indie Tribe lately, so he definitely must have a lot of respect. I mean, he was on Let the Trap Say Amen, if I think right. That was his first Lecrae feature. But yeah, they're just both such solid tracks. It's hard to pick one from the other. They hit one hits for the culture, where the other one hits personal. I'm just gonna have to, since CC4 is one of my projects for the year, I'm gonna have to go with that one.
Yeah. I feel you. I think my vote will probably go to Gratitude. I know our winner is on Church Clothes 4, which is Misconceptions 4, but I think my vote will go to Misconceptions just because, like I said, I'm a sucker for hard bars.
Gratitude or for
Gratitude.
Okay,
what did I say?
You said Misconception.
Gratitude. Yeah, that because I just like the tying in the backstory and kind of hearing how some of that kind of developed, and I connected the dots, but like it just, the story along with it makes it just kind of resonate a little bit more, because we've all been there. Like Josh was just saying, like we've been there on various fronts of our life. So that would be my choice, but the winner goes to Misconceptions 4. We have a winner, the best feature according to us.
Right. The authority.
Right. We kind of are the authority because we're the only one that does a dope bracket like this.
Exactly.
So it goes to Misconceptions 4. That is our winner. Best feature of the year. And the thing is, this is not even all his features.
Yeah,
like,
right.
That's the crazy thing about it is, like I said earlier, he didn't have an album this year, but it almost kind of feels like it. I kind of almost feel like I might have missed the feature because he's had so many of them. How many songs do you have in your playlist?
I'm gonna go to it right now.
I'm curious. So I know
might need to do a part 2.
Honestly,
hey, you never know. And the thing is somebody actually hit me up when they saw that I was having this idea, and they tossed the idea. I was like, "Do you want to do one of these with bats?" And I was just kind of like, interesting. I wonder. I think he's had about around 8 features this year. I'm not 100% sure though.
Oh, at least.
Because I would like to have 8 because that makes it nice and a nice round number. So who
the
knows?
only one is Gotham, and then King Jesus, obviously, and then technically One Way.
Son of God, doing what the sun say. Minimalist with the feng shui. Heart guarded, I'm like Harden with the pump fake. We ain't going back and forth. Yeah, one way.
But technically, I guess that's his song. It's not really like a
it's his song,
feature.
Yeah.
It's his song.
But he was featured on the playlist, so I see why you want to slide that in there.
But yeah, and then I got some throwbacks like Miles Minnick, WYT, and what else? And then his song Willie. But yeah, that Miles Minnick song is great. But I think that's from 2020-ish.
Yeah,
I got Rest on there too.
So we have our champ, but I do want to say probably my favorite Dill single of the year is probably Sleeping.
Everybody keep on sleeping on Dill. Blood, sweat, tears, man, look what I spill. Spotify looking at Dill. Why every day I be in my field?
I was gonna say it's not only my favorite
good.
single of the year, but it's probably my favorite single of his, period.
Really?
Wow.
Huh. See, what's interesting about that is I did like that song and I did a reaction to it, but I didn't like it. Like when it comes to his stuff from this year, I don't know if it would be in my top few.
Go back and listen to it.
I will. I like the song. Like, don't get me wrong. I feel like there's something about it that I don't like as much as some other stuff. It's
different as far as he goes, right?
Yeah. I've been listening to One Way all year, so.
Oh yeah, One Way is like that's probably my favorite Dill
I love
song.
That song so much.
I know I just said Sleeping Is, but I think I'll take that back and say One Way Is. Shout out to the record that we did earlier this year where that took home the crown.
Right.
But Sleeping, I think he took some chances like with the whole this is a song about ego, like telling you like what it's about, and then he like kind of like
that video is crazy.
Oh yeah, the video's dope too. It's funny, like I tell you, like my kids are CHH kids for real. Like whenever they brush their teeth at night, they do the thing every single time they brush their teeth.
Yeah, that's right.
I love it. It's hilarious. And sometimes I'd be like, I'm like a dad, like wanting them to get in bed so I can kind of unwind from the day. Me and my wife were trying to just get them in bed and chill, and it doesn't matter. I'm trying to rush. They're like, and my daughter, she wears a little night cap, and he has a night cap on, Daddy. I was kind of like, yes, he does. He has locks. He has to keep them, moisturized. So yeah, so man, this has been fun, man. I really appreciate you guys hopping on. 2 of the biggest No Big Deal fans I know. So I had to have you guys on. I had the idea of doing a bracket like this. I was like, if I'm doing No Big Deal, I have to get Josh, aka Dad by Faith. I have to get Mr. Darrell on here. So really appreciate you guys hopping on here. Actually, I need to hit you guys up because I have an interesting idea about when Bodega 2 comes. Well, the deluxe version of Bodega 2 comes out. So I need to hit you guys up. We'll talk about that offline. So, but Dad by Faith, you got anything you want to say on the way out?
Not about this particular. Just kind of like I see you've been releasing the whole 99 with the players and all that, and this is why it kind of came up. Are you gonna release like a roster for 2022 of all your 99s?
Ooh, that's interesting. I need to come up with some more. I have a few more that I haven't put out yet. People, because I just I feel like every artist has like one thing that they're really, really good at. They're good at a lot of different things, but you have like a lot of different things. Like some people are just like who was I just thinking about? Like, oh gosh, it just slipped my mind. But like, there's certain people who like just the tone of their voice, like Truther. Like whenever Truther drops something, I just like his voice. Yeah, like he could just be rapping about whatever, but like just like it's something about his voice that I just really enjoy. Like we said, Doc Clyde, like his ad libs. Yeah. Another person with the ad libs is John Keith too. Like he been killing it too. So it's just like certain things about artists that that I just enjoy. Like Mitch Darrell, he has the best rap hands in the game. Like nobody can do it like Mitch.
You know what's so funny? I was just thinking about that today. I was thinking about how the next challenge I'm gonna do, I'm gonna be like, I'm going to do this the whole time. I'm not even gonna move my arm. I'm gonna have my arms behind my back and see how it goes.
You should have a second camera with like your hands in a rope behind your back, just so everybody knows that like you're trying your best to keep your hands behind your back.
Yeah, seriously, it might be tough.
Well, nice. Well, Mitch, you got anything you want to say on the way out? And that's a good idea, Josh. I may have to do that. But Mitch, what you got?
Yeah, just thanks for having me. I appreciate all that you do, man. I think that, I've told you this for years. I think you're underrated, underappreciated with what you do. You do a lot of really cool things that other people just don't think of, man. So I think you're great coming up with content creation and stuff. So I appreciate you thinking of me. I would have been kind of offended if you were like, I got the best No Big Deal fans up here, and I'm sitting at home like I wasn't invited. All I do is talk about No Big Deal stuff. So, right. But yeah, so I appreciate you having me, man.
Well, cool. Well, I appreciate you. I think your I still your rap should be fun all the time, because I feel like creating Christian content should be fun, and we sometimes get off in the weeds. So I really do appreciate what you do on your end, and yes, we definitely gonna have you guys back on the channel sometime really soon. So I appreciate all you guys for watching, and until next time, peace in, confusion out, and be positive.